Hello, welcome to another episode of This, That, and the Other. And today's the day after Thanksgiving. I want to say I hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving time yesterday. And it was actually it was a nice day here. Weather was close to 60 degrees during the day. I'm going to talk about today is similar to what I was talking about last time about when I was talking about Betty Crocker. The question now is, who is Mrs. Paul? How many of you bought the Mrs. Paul's fish, other seafood, frozen seafood meals? The fish sticks, shrimp, etc. Well, 1946, power plant worker Edward Pisek was selling deviled crabs in a local bar to earn money while the plant was on strike. He prepared 172 and only sold 50. And there was a freezer in back of the bar, so he threw them in there. It was either that or the trash can. A week later, the frozen crabs still tasted fine. So him and his friend John Paul each pitched in $350 and started a frozen seafood business. His mother wanted him to name the company after her, but instead he named it after John Paul's mother and named it Mrs. Paul's Kitchens after John's mom, originally naming the brand Mrs. Paul's Kitchen. He bought out his partner in the 1950s, but kept the Mrs. Paul's name. In 1982, he sold his company to Campbell Soup. In 1996, it was purchased by Pinnacle Foods Corporation. I had heard one time that they're on TV. They had something where on some show they were going to the Mrs. Paul's plant and trying to find Mrs. Paul. It's kind of interesting because Mrs. Paul there was no real Mrs. Paul. It was just named after a person, a mother of John Paul that didn't do any. It was not employed by Mrs. Paul as far as I know. But that's what I was able to find out on Mrs. Paul's name. And like I said, I'm looking for more ideas on what to do shows on. Like I said, my shows are based on preserving history, mostly obscure aspects of history. And with that being said, like, subscribe, share. As always, thanks for watching.